Most Canadians would much rather see Prince William wear the crown than his father, Prince Charles.
That's according to a new royal poll conducted by our very own in-house pollster, Abacus Data. Joining us now for more on these stats, we've got David Coletto, CEO. David, what did you actually ask?
I'm not surprised by this, by the way.
So we conducted this poll for the Huffington Post Canada, and we asked two questions. First, do you support or oppose Canada continuing to have a monarch after Queen Elizabeth moves on? And then the second question is, regardless of your opinion of the monarchy, who do you think or who do you want to succeed Queen Elizabeth II? So the first question we found, actually, Canada is quite divided over this question. 34% support continuing to have the monarchy as our head of state, compared with 39% who oppose it. And then you have 26% of Canadians who are pretty much indifferent. They don't care. They neither support nor oppose it. So it's a pretty interesting divide on an institution that Canada's had since Confederation, far before it, in terms of, and really is, if you talk to a political scientist, one of the more important foundational institutions of power in Canada. So it's interesting that we're debating the Senate and the role that the Senate plays, but we rarely hear about whether we should continue as a monarchy or not.
I think we know what your standing on this is. We've
I'm not going to say anything. I get in so much trouble when I say it.
Yes, you do.
But what we found was one of the most interesting differences, if we put up the next board, and this is no surprise, I think, is that there is a clear difference between opinion outside of Quebec, the rest of Canada, where 41% support the monarchy compared to 32% who propose it. But in Quebec, you know, the monarchy is almost, I wouldn't say toxic, but it's close to it, where only 13% of Quebec respondents said they support the monarchy compared to 63% who oppose it. So, you know, not a surprise there that Quebecers aren't necessarily supportive of the British monarchy, which is also the monarchy of Canada.
To some degree, so.
It's true. I mean, I'm sure that a large portion of that 63% are separatists.
Yeah.
We found that Bloc Québécois supporters, over almost 80% of them, you know, oppose the monarchy. So again, not a surprise, but it shows the division on this topic and on this question across the country.
Okay, so more importantly, who in your poll does take the place of Queen Elizabeth?
So overwhelmingly, Prince William is the choice. He's people refer to him as the People's Prince.
Yeah.
Him and his wife are coming this week to Canada, and so that's why we asked the question. And we find here 56% of Canadians prefer Prince William compared to 26% who prefer Prince Charles. This is interesting because it crosses pretty much all age groups, all
That's
genders.
what I was going to ask you. Which age is this?
Younger Canadians, I think, you know, if I was the pollster, the PR consultant for the monarchy, I would say this is a great time for William and Kate to be coming to Canada, because younger Canadians generally are indifferent towards the monarchy, are actually a little less supportive. And so, you know, he's sort of the millennial prince in the sense that he's using Twitter, he's using all the things my generation's using, and so
but
it's
he's
probably
not an entertainment guy. Like, this has now crossed the barriers. This isn't just a news event. This is celebrity, like Us Magazine. All these, it's on every entertainment show. So it's got much more appeal, mass appeal.
I think it's yeah, you're right, far more entertainment than politics or government.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there is a chance that, well, a very good chance that William will become King of Canada. So I think it's important from an institutional or government point of view to be talking about it as well.
He'll be King of England and the Commonwealth. I actually saw some opinion pieces that say Harry should be King of Canada. And then we have our own king.
All the women have a crush on him. That's awesome. Yeah, I'd like to see where that is sourced from. But it's interesting because he is so reminiscent of his mother, who everyone loved, Princess Di. And I think she, of course, his wife, Kate, is also, everyone's looking at her now as the Princess Di, you know, in waiting.
I wonder if these numbers will change once they visit. You know, how much one would assume that they'll go up.
Well, that's a great question. We asked the same question about do you support or oppose the monarchy the day before the royal wedding. And what we found was there was actually no improvement in the monarchy's numbers. So despite all the attention, despite all the positive press, Canadians actually became somewhat more opposed to the monarchy as a result. So I think it's one of those things that, you know, they're trying to improve their standing, but at some point a lot of Canadians just say, you know, why do we have a hereditary monarchy versus the monarchists who say it's tradition and it's good for the country. So good debate.
Even before and after the wedding.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, David, thanks very much.
You're welcome.